Maya balanced a tray of glasses as the luxury restaurant shimmered with gold chandeliers. Laughter echoed from tables where millionaires showed off diamonds and power. She moved quietly between them, head high despite the weight in her chest. Bills were piling up at home. Her little sister still needed shoes for school, but Maya never let her struggle show. At a corner table, a man in an ordinary gray suit sat alone. He did not look like the rest, no designer watch, no bodyguards, no arrogance in his posture. Yet his eyes followed Maya closely, studying every move. His name was Victor Langford, though almost no one recognized him without the cameras and headlines. A billionaire. A man who secretly enjoyed testing people to see their true nature. When Maya approached, he spoke in a calm but cutting tone. "Miss, what is the cheapest thing on this menu? Something a man without money could eat." The words froze her. Around the room, guests turned, smirking at the question. A waitress being mocked. That was entertainment. Maya's heart pounded, but she did not flinch. She set the tray down carefully and met his gaze. "Sir, hunger does not ask about money. If you are hungry, I will make sure you eat. You will not leave this place empty." Gasps rose from nearby tables. The other waiters exchanged knowing looks, whispering she would regret speaking up. But Maya's voice carried dignity, an echo of the values her late mother had taught her: treat everyone with kindness, no matter who they are. Victor leaned back, eyes narrowing. He had tested many people before. Most laughed at him. Others ignored him. But no one, ever, had defended his dignity as she just did. The manager stormed forward, face red with fury. "Maya, stop wasting time. We do not serve freeloaders here." His voice carried across the restaurant, humiliating her in front of strangers. Her chest tightened, but she stood tall. "With respect, sir, every guest deserves to be served. Even those who may not have money tonight." The restaurant went silent. You could hear forks drop. The manager's lip curled. "Say one more word, Maya, and you are finished here. Do you understand?" Her stomach twisted. Rent was due. Her sister was waiting at home. Losing this job would crush them. But her soul burned too fiercely to remain silent. She opened her mouth, ready to defend the men in gray. And then, the quiet stranger stood up. His chair scraped loudly against the marble floor, every head snapping toward him. He placed a black card on the table. The kind only billionaires owned. The crowd gasped. The manager's face drained of color. And Victor finally spoke words that silenced the entire room. The black card gleamed beneath the chandelier light. Gasps rippled through the dining room. Everyone suddenly recognized the man who had been sitting so quietly. Victor Langford. The billionaire whose face appeared on magazine covers and business news channels. The manager's jaw dropped. His tone flipped instantly. "Mr. Langford, sir, I had no idea you were here. Forgive me. Please forgive her." He motioned toward Maya with a dismissive wave, as if she were dirt. But Victor did not even glance at the manager. His sharp eyes remained fixed on Maya. "You were willing to risk your job to defend me," he said, his voice calm but heavy. "Why?" Maya's hands trembled, but her words were steady. "Because dignity does not depend on a wallet. My mother taught me that. And I cannot ignore it just to keep a job." A hush fell across the room. Guests leaned forward, waiting for the billionaire's reaction. Some looked nervous. Had they laughed too soon? Others smirked, expecting Maya to be fired instantly. Victor studied her for a long moment, then smiled faintly, almost amused. "Interesting," he murmured. "Most people hide their true selves in places like this. You did not." He sat back down, motioning for her to bring him the house special. The manager rushed forward, trying to take over. But Victor raised his hand sharply. "No. She will serve me." Maya swallowed hard and nodded. She hurried to the kitchen, heart racing. Every step felt unreal. Why had he chosen her? And why did he sound as though he was measuring more than just her service? When she returned with his meal, Victor spoke again. "Tell me, Maya, if you had $1 million, what would you do?" The question struck her like lightning. The restaurant went quiet again. Everyone wanted to hear her answer. She set down the plate gently, her voice soft but clear. "I would pay for my sister's schooling. She is brilliant but young. She deserves a future. And then, I would help others like her. Because no child should feel their dreams depend on money." Victor's expression darkened with thought. His fingers tapped against the table. Guests exchanged glances, confused. Why would a billionaire test a waitress like this? What secret game was he playing? Maya straightened, her chest tight. "But I do not have $1 million, she added. "So I work. And I keep moving forward." The billionaire leaned forward now, voice low. "Do you think wealth makes a man more important than you?" Her answer came without hesitation. "No. Wealth shows what a man does with it. That is where his importance lies." A ripple of emotion swept the crowd. Some guests lowered their heads in shame, realizing how they had laughed at her earlier. Victor's eyes glittered. "Very well," he said, rising from his chair once more. "Then let us see what you do when the stakes are higher." He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Within minutes, 2 men in suits walked through the doors carrying a sealed envelope. Victor placed it on the table, then slid it toward Maya. "Inside this envelope is a choice," he said, his voice like thunder. "What you decide in the next 5 minutes will change your life forever." The room held its breath. Maya's hands hovered over the envelope, heart pounding like a drum. She could feel dozens of eyes burning into her. Her future, her sister's future, her entire life, rested inside. With trembling fingers, she slowly tore open the seal. And what she saw inside made her knees nearly give out. The envelope shook in Maya's hands as she unfolded the paper inside. Her eyes scanned the words, and her breath caught. It was a check. A check written in her name, for $1 million. Gasps echoed around the restaurant. Guests leaned over their tables, whispering in disbelief. The manager's face turned pale. Even the waiters froze, trays dangling midair. Victor's voice cut through the silence. "That money can be yours. Right now. One condition, walk away from this place, from me, from this conversation. Take it, and never look back." Maya's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear. $1 million. Enough to free her sister from every worry. Enough to erase years of struggle. It was the kind of miracle people dreamed of. Her fingers tightened on the paper. For one wild second, she imagined running home, showing her sister the check, crying together in joy. But another voice rose inside her, her mother's voice, steady and wise. "Not all that glitters is gold, Maya. Sometimes the price is too high." She swallowed hard and looked up. "Why are you doing this?" she asked quietly. Victor's eyes were sharp, testing. "Because money changes people. It bends them, exposes them. Most claim principles until a fortune is set in front of them. Then, they show who they really are." Maya's throat tightened. "So you want to see if I will sell my soul?" The billionaire tilted his head. "I want to see if you are who you say you are." The crowd buzzed. Some whispered she would be a fool not to take it. Others shook their heads, waiting to see if she truly meant the words she had spoken earlier. Maya looked down at the check again. Her sister's smile flashed before her eyes. The weight of unpaid bills pressed against her chest. She could feel tears burning in the corners of her eyes. But then, she remembered the moment the manager had humiliated her, and how Victor had tested her with those sharp words. If she accepted this check without question, what would that say about her? Her voice trembled, but her words were clear. "Sir, my dignity is not for sale. If you truly wanted to help, you would not make it a game. I will not trade my soul for your test." The restaurant erupted. Gasps. Shock. Some clapped softly in disbelief. The manager staggered back, unable to believe what he had heard. Victor's eyes widened, then narrowed. For a long, heavy moment, he said nothing. Then slowly, he took the check from her trembling hand and tore it cleanly down the middle. The pieces fluttered to the marble floor like falling snow. Maya's stomach sank. Had she just thrown away her only chance at freedom? Victor's face was unreadable. He turned toward the door, his voice cold. "Then perhaps you are not the person I thought you were." The billionaire walked out of the restaurant, leaving stunned silence behind him. The crowd buzzed in confusion. The manager hissed at Maya, "Do you realize what you just lost? You ruined everything." Tears welled in Maya's eyes, but she held her head high. She had chosen her path. Right or wrong, she would live with it. But outside, Victor stood on the curb, pulling out his phone. His voice was low, but his words were chilling. "Prepare everything. Tonight, we will see her true strength." Back inside, Maya collapsed against the counter, shaken and exhausted. She did not know the billionaire's game was far from over. And by sunrise, the entire city would know her name. The next morning, Maya dragged herself back to the restaurant, her body heavy from the sleepless night. She replayed everything in her head, Victor's piercing eyes, the $1 million check, her trembling refusal. Had she been foolish? Or had she done the only thing her mother would have been proud of? When she stepped through the doors, something was different. The restaurant was buzzing, not with customers, but with cameras, reporters, and bright lights. The manager looked nervous, pacing frantically. The other waiters whispered and pointed toward the entrance. Then the doors opened. And in walked Victor Langford, flanked by security and followed by a team of journalists. The manager nearly tripped rushing to greet him. "Mr. Langford. Welcome back, sir. Please, sit anywhere. We will bring you the finest service." But Victor raised a hand, cutting him off. His voice boomed. "I am not here to eat. I am here to tell the world about someone extraordinary." The cameras swung toward Maya. Her heart stopped. She glanced behind her, thinking he must mean someone else. But no, his eyes were locked on her. Victor stepped forward. Last night, this woman faced a test. I placed before her a choice, a fortune that could change her life. Most would have taken it. But she refused, because she values dignity above wealth. Reporters scribbled furiously. Flashbulbs lit up the room. The other staff gasped, stunned at the sudden spotlight on the waitress they had mocked only hours before. Maya's voice shook. Why are you doing this? Victor's expression softened for the first time. Because the world needs to know there are still people who cannot be bought. I pretended to be a poor man to see who you truly were. And you passed a test that even millionaires fail every day. The manager tried to interject, but Victor's glare froze him in place. As of today, Victor continued, Maya will no longer serve tables here. She will work at my foundation, leading programs for education and community support. And yes, her sister's schooling is paid for, in full, through college. Maya's knees buckled. Tears streamed down her face. The restaurant erupted in cheers, not laughter this time, but awe. Even some guests who had mocked her clapped with shame and admiration. Victor turned to her one last time. Wealth does not measure a person. Character does. And Maya, your character is priceless. The cameras captured every word. By evening, her story was everywhere. Waitress who refused a billionaire's check inspires the city. That night, as she tucked her little sister into bed, Maya whispered, dream big. Never let anyone tell you your worth comes from money. Her sister smiled, hugging her tightly. I will, Maya. Because you showed me how. And for the first time in years, Maya allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, life could change for the better when you stand firm on what truly matters. Ending life lesson. True wealth is not found in money. It is found in courage, dignity, and the choices we make when no one else believes in us.